Good evening, Americans. This is your favorite alien here on the evening of Friday, September 8th, 2003. Stand by for commentary. Well, Americans, your president is in India for the G20 summit. That's what they call it. What are they going to get accomplished on the G20 summit? Absolutely nothing. You got countries that don't agree on anything over there, especially India. And you exclude other countries because they're not part of the G20. Yeah. What you should have is a 230 something countries summit with two things. One, you should flat out tell them capitalism doesn't work, communism doesn't work, democracy doesn't work, and totalitarianism doesn't work either. That much is proven. You don't believe me? Look at the United States, how disastrous it is. Look at China and Russia. Heck, they're killing their own citizens because they're fighting with them for power. And the Chinese have been fighting a war with the Tibetans since 1959 because they invaded their country, trying to make their way the highway. That's what they're trying to do with Taiwan. Russia wants Ukraine to be their breadbasket and eliminate all their people. Same stupid way of thinking, isn't it? Isn't that the way the Romans looked at things? And Alexander the Great tried to conquer the world and make it a Greek society? How many Greek societies are left in Asia Minor? Or Afghanistan, Mesopotamia, India? You got a lot of Greek cities that he's established, but they're all ruins. See what I mean? How many democracies actually work in the world? Actually work. They all have flaws. They've all, at one time or another, changed their government. So the government that started it's not there. The United States government's not there. They've changed it once, and they need to change it again. The Russians, well, they've gone through the czars, the Bolsheviks, Putin. That doesn't work. China has gone through a lot of emperors. That didn't work. Mao Zedong didn't work. Cultural Revolution didn't work. And the present government definitely doesn't work. You name me a country on this planet that works. Because you haven't gotten your people all situated. You can eliminate hunger 100%. That you can. You can't eliminate dissent. You're always going to have that, no matter what government you got. You're always going to have dissent and people that don't like you. You could say, oh yeah, but democracy. Yeah, there's a lot of people that hate democracy. And there's a lot of people that hate communism or totalitarianism. A lot of people hate politics in the United States, and I don't blame them. It's terrible. Or religion, because religion looks after its own and not after everybody. The Australians have a national song that applies to all your planetary. We are one in many. It's like Spock's thing in Star Trek. And I keep on harping at this. The needs of the many also include the needs of the few and the one. But here, the needs of the few are in the United States, as in extremist Republicans and extremist Democrat, or the presidency, as in Donald J. Trump, and the needs of the one. In China, it's the needs of President Xi, so it's the needs of the one, and the needs of the few, the Communist Party. But the needs of 1.4 billion Chinese, well, we could care less about that. Same with India, 1.4 billion Indians. It's the needs of the one, the Prime Minister. Yeah. And although you have eliminated the caste, you haven't eliminated their social structure. You eliminated the caste as a political thing, but not the social structure. It's still around in India. Japan, you've seen how war treats you and how you treated the people during war. You were very nasty. Same with the Chinese and the Russians. They were nasty after the war because paybacks are hell. The Americans, well, you ended up holding everything. And there for about 25 years you had everything because you were it. Now, everything has come back and you're back to your descendants that you were pre-World War II. Remember how you were pre-World War II? Remember the eugenics people that you had? You're starting to revert back to that. Isolationist, eugenics. But the only thing is, you brought in so many people during the period after World War II that you don't have the necessary force to produce what you did during the Depression. Because you got more people here with outside ways of thinking and political systems and religious systems outside of your norm. And that's what's happening to the Chinese. They got the Tibetans they got to worry about. And their own country. You still got Mandarins, you still got Cantonese, and all the other divisions in China that's always been there century after century. The Japanese, the same way. You say, oh, we eliminated the shogunate back in 1868. Heck, you still had Bushido Code up until 1945, and it's still there somewhat. Today, the Yakuza has the Bushido Code. The Latin Americans, they got their independence from Spain and never know what to do with it. Same with other countries. Australia, New Zealand, with the British, Africa, they were never a cohesion outside of the Ghana, Mali empires of the Middle Ages. Well, or the Kush Empire that rivaled both the Mesopotamian and Roman cultures. Kush was a very powerful culture for thousands of years. As an alien from another planet, I'm telling you, Americans and humans, when are you going to sit down and start saying, instead of going to the G20 and saying, we got this and we can eliminate those other nations? You don't have nations. You have people with different petty differences, and you haven't even attempted to look at those. Heck, you in the United States, you got so many differences here. Petty, from color, which is really pigmentation issues, to the different political and social. And don't forget that you rely on something you call money. It's an artificial belief, money. My civilization got rid of money 2 millennia ago because it destroyed my ancestors. And the other people that joined our federation are doing better without it. One of them almost destroyed themselves, just like we almost destroyed ours. And they weren't humanoids. So you see, it doesn't matter if you're humanoids or not. If you're insectoids, heck, you can destroy yourself because you got differences and petty differences there. If you're aquatics, well, what are you going to do with the fish and the whales and the dolphins? They got differences, but they share the same thing in common, the oceans, along with other life forms. And the octopus, well, does that really belong to the earth, or is that from someplace else? See what I mean, Americans and humans? I haven't seen 5 people of different pigmentations and or national people that would sit down and says, we got to start here and talk. But you can't do that unless you save your own countries first. And then talk to each other on a planetary scale. You Americans, you haven't done it. The Canadians, you haven't done it. The Mexicans, wow, they're still eating their tacos. Anyway, this is your favorite alien saying, what is it going to take to get you guys moving? Good day.